देखो सर यूट्यूब वाले आ रहे हैं क्या? सर कपिल सर। हाँ चेक करो उसको आ जाए। क्या? सर सेल्फ। यस। यस।
Italy. He has published over 105 research papers in reputed international and national journals. He is also a life member of Indian Association of Physics Teacher (IAPT), Indian Science Congress (ISC), and Indian Physics Association.
Sufficient, I think we can start.
Okay, okay. Before starting, please welcome, sir. Uh,
Thank you.
please start the session.
Thank you, Engineer Mahendra Sani, for the introduction. Hope I am audible.
Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Okay, fine. So let me share my screen before I start. And my screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Screen is visible. Yes, sir.
Okay, so my correct name is Manish Kumar Kashyap, and I am a professor at School of Physical Sciences, Jawaharlal Nehru University. So welcome each and every participant for International Faculty Development Program on Ethical Issues in Research Writing. And it is a very important course because some things we take taken for granted. So this course is going to tell us that everything is not granted. So for some issues in research and publications, we should be very careful. So I'm very thankful to Regional College of Education, Research and Technology, Jaipur, and University of Technology, Jaipur, as well as Scientific and Humanities Research Society, Jaipur, for asking me to deliver the lecture on this topic. That is very important. So this is in fact a complete book. So if you go the Google, so you will find many book on research ethics. So within 1 hour, it is not possible to cover each and every aspect of the book, but I will try to cover the important aspect of research ethics so that you can if you are not aware of these facts during your research, so you should take into account these ones. Okay, so I will try to give you the introduction about the ethics, research ethics, and then guidelines for the research ethics, that is ethical guidelines, ethical principle, what about the research misconduct, and I will quote some examples so that the topic become clear to you, and finally I will try to conclude why this topic is so much important. Okay, so if you have seen website or the entrance gate of University of South Africa, very good definition of quality education is written according to the statement of Nelson Mandela. Destroying any nation does not require the use of atom bomb or use of long-range missiles. It only requires lowering the quality of education and allowing cheating in the examination by the students, and the collapse of education is the collapse of the nation. So this is not limited only for the examination, but we can say it is also related to research. Every one of us is related to the research, know about the importance of research and how much genuinity we should have in our research. Okay, so here is a clear-cut comparison. So suppose you have done any PG study, postgraduate degree, maybe MA, MCom, MSc. Fine. So what happens in PG study? You have to go from known to unknown. Means you know some basic laws or facts, and based upon these known basic laws and facts, you try to explain the unknown phenomenon. So this thing is really easy, and with the sound basic fundamentals, so you can go with this study very easily. But what about PhD? So PhD is just opposite of this. PhD means research. I'm saying about research. So it is nothing but going from unknown to known. Okay, so what does it mean? This means you are going to start a unknown topic or unknown research. Means you will be the first researcher in the world who are taking this particular topic into consideration, and this particular topic will be unknown to each and everyone throughout the globe. But after your research, you will make this fact or topic known to each and everyone. So in this way, it is unknown to know. Now, it totally depends upon how much is the uniqueness or how much is the new or novel idea you have introduced in your research. That goes the quality of your work. So that's why. So you can say that unknown. If you are checking a unknown, if you are taking a topic, so take a topic which is not familiar, and when you say that it is the known one, when it is published, suppose, totally depends upon the quality, how much percentage it is unique. So even it can be the 100% unique, okay, and it may be 50% unique, it may be 1% unique, it may be 0.001% unique. So it totally depends upon your effort, what you are making in your research. Right, so let me come directly to the research ethics. So research ethics is nothing but the set of the principles and the guidelines that shapes and guide the way any research is designed. First of all, research is designed, and then how it is going to be conducted, and after that it is managed, used, and disseminated. Okay, so means right from the beginning, right from the starting of the research and up to the end of the research, up to the end of the publication, patent, or the thesis submission, whatever you can consider. So we are having some principle and the guidelines that that we should take into account, so that we remain as per the need of the quality research. And what about under these guidelines? So guidelines, according to these guidelines, the research include diagnostic and explorative investigation of social issues of interest. It may be, this may be a research, or it may be a work carried out as a part of meal. Meal means monitoring, evaluation, accountability, and learning. So it covers entire aspect of the research, right? So this means the topic of the research is really very important, on which we are going to start our research. And if we talk about the ethics, so according to Cooper, ethics is the disciplined study or morality, and morality asks the questions: why, what should one's behave be? Okay, so it totally depends upon the topic. So what you have taken. Uh, so you can ask why I'm doing this type of the work. What will I gain from this one, and what will be the end result? And from where it comes into picture, the ethics, the word. So ethics word is coming from the Greek word ethos. Ethos means character. For example, so if we talk about the human character, it may be good, bad, right, wrong in any particular condition. In the same way, so when we say that ethics, so research ethics is nothing but a systematic study of the value concept, that is good, bad, right, and wrong, and the general principle that justify applying these concepts. Okay, so this is as per the definition of John E. Siebers. Okay, so this means the ethics, research ethics is really important in order to go on what we are doing. Ethics is the norms for conducting the research, and this distinguish between acceptable and unacceptable behavior. Okay, now, the research ethics, that can be of two types. So it can be descriptive ethics, it can be prescriptive ethics. So when we talk about the descriptive ethics, so it asks that what does the culture or society believe is morally correct or not. So if this type of the question is coming in your research, this means it is a part of the descriptive ethics. Otherwise, it is prescriptive ethics, which covers that how should I behave as a researcher, what character traits I cultivate when I'm doing a particular research, or what how my character is going to improve by doing this type of the research. Means suppose you do a particular type of the research. For example, you are doing research on the solar cells, and you make a discovery on the solar cell, and it is not known to any of the persons, or it is a new idea. Then you can say that yes, you have built a very good character, and uh, whatever the discovery you have made, so that will be known by your name. in the coming days or future, you can say that. And what type of the research I am doing? So why it is so much important? Because whenever we do a research study, we try to select a topic. And how we select the topic? So we try to see that what is the present scenario, what is going in the present day. So what type of research is so much important? So we try to take the research topic in such a way that what has been done up to today. So we have to go beyond that point. So if you will take in this way, so then definitely, as I said, that you have to go from unknown to known. So whatever the known, whatever the research you will make for the word, that will be having the more percentage of the novelty or discovery, you can say that. You will have many questions to answer whenever you are doing this type of the research. Okay, so many questions will come in your mind and you have to answer those questions. And suppose you are giving a physical explanation of the result whatever you have obtained in your research. So this means for this you need a framework for which to answer these questions. And if you are able to answer these questions, so this means you can go for a publication or patent uh, of high reputation, you can say. So that is this type of the description has been given by Jeff Cooper, based upon the descriptive and prescriptive ethics. Now, why is this research ethics is so much important? Because it promotes the aim of the research. And what is the aim of the research? That is to boost the knowledge, that is to take into account the truth investigation. So what is type of work you are doing? So that should be true only, that should be reproducible. And if there is any chance of the error, so it try to avoid that error. So if you are going with the research ethics, so you are going to fulfill all these aspects, that is knowledge, truth, and avoidance of errors, you can say that. And it promotes the value essential for the collaborative works: trust, accountability, mutual respect, and fairness. Definitely, as it is a competitive world, so one alone cannot do a very great work. So for this we have to join the hand with the other collaborators who are doing the similar type of the work in which we are interested. So this, if it is so, this means trust is so much important, and accountability. So whatever our collaborator or partner are doing the research, so we have a faith that it is accountable. And if we have the mutual respect each other, and we are fair enough for each other, so this means the chance of collaboration is going to increase. So and research ethics helps to build the public support for the research. For example, for every research you need money. And if you are doing the research for the society, you are doing it for science and technology, so many people will come, many firm, uh, many organization will come forward to support your research. So as people more likely to fund the research project, so if they trust the quality and integrity of the research, but they will trust only on you whenever you are going to produce a quality research, and there is integrity of the research done by you. So for this, you have to raise the standard of the research, and it is only possible whenever you are following the principle and the guidelines of the research ethics. So research ethics also promote the moral and the social values. It accounts for the social responsibility, human rights, animal welfare, etc. For example, you are doing the research on the uh, on animals. Fine. So research ethics ensure that the minimum harm to the animals, if this type of this research is related to the animals. Well, talking about the ethical guidelines, so what happens? So suppose there is any research misconduct, and I will come to research misconduct in my coming slides. But for the time being, suppose the research misconduct is there, and someone is subjected of committing the research, this type of the research misconduct. A proper procedure is there, uh, And what is that procedure? First, to launch an inquiry by the institution in which he is working. If the inquiry reveals that a potential research misconduct situation is there, means research misconduct has been proven by the researcher of any particular institution, then what will happen? So the institution can conduct a full investigation, and finally, the institution uses the information collected during full-scale investigation, that okay, so what type of the research misconduct it was, what will be the pros and cons for that, and then how to give the uh, penalty to the researcher for this. So this full scale investigation is helping us to make the decision concerning the presence of the misconduct and its severity, and what appropriate action should be taken if there is any need, right? So this means if there is a misconduct, so we should be very careful. So it is not only that, oh, your paper will be retracted only, but your institution can also take some action on you, because you are not only spoiling the reputation of yourself, but spoiling the reputation of the institution or the firm or the company in which you are working. That okay, so some type of the researchers are there who are doing this type of the uh, research misconduct, and so there is a question mark about the institution. So that's why the institution is liable to take the action. So we should avoid this type of the research misconduct. Okay, talking about the ethical principles. So there are a lot of ethical principles which are to be followed. So I'm taking these one by one. So first one is honesty. Well, you are doing a research, and you have seen that you have produced some data, and that data is not as per your expectation. And then you think that okay, so why to repeat this particular experiment? Let us fabricate the data and uh, go with the publication. But this is not the right spirit. You should do each and every work with the honesty. If you are not getting the desirable research, you must uh, repeat the experiment and produce the data or report the data with honesty only. So with honesty, report data, result, method, and procedures, and it should not be that. Okay, for example, you have used procedure number one to conduct a particular research study, but in the writing you say that okay, I have used the procedure number two, means you write the hi-fi procedure, and but you have used only the a very simple procedure. Okay, so whatever the case, how you have done the research, you must be very true about that, and report each and everything with the honesty, and do not fabricate and falsify or misrepresent the data. No need to change the data as per your expectation. If the results are not as per your expectation, just repeat the experiment. Even if this repetition is again and again, so uh, you should go for that. Okay, so honesty is the first things that comes in the ethical principle. Then objectivity. Try to avoid the biasness in the experimental design, data analysis, data interpretation, peer review, personal decision, grant writing. So all these are the aspects which comes into picture whenever we are conducting a particular research study. Whether we are a researcher, whether we are a research scholar or a teacher or any scientist or any doing the research for any company, whatever is the case. So expert testimony and other aspect of the research. So objectivity should be clear, and no need to make a bias about that. For example, so if one experimental design is there, and you go with the some another experimental design, but you report some different type of the research design or experimental design, so it is not correct. So objectivity should be clear. Third one is integrity. So integrity should not be doubtful for any person. So keep your promises and the agreement. Act with the sincerity. Strive for consistency of thoughts and action. For example, you have started a particular work in the collaboration. Okay, and you have taken the help of a one particular person, and you are now when you are going for the publication, you are not recognizing that particular person. So then, uh, after the publication, if no acknowledgement or no co-authorship is there for that particular person who have contributed in your research, so this means your integrity will be doubtful, and that person may complain at some platform about your this type of the misconduct. Carefulness, so avoid careless error and negligence. For example, suppose you are writing a particular mathematical data in a table, and you have to write suppose 1.305, and instead of 1.305 you have written 0.305, but you have assumed you have whatever the calculation you have done it with the help of 1.305, one particular data for example, but you have written there 0.305. So this means this is careless error, because suppose some other person who will perform the similar type of the experiment or the research with the same data. So at that time, he is not aware that the actual data is 1.0305. So he will take it 0.305. But as per the 0.305, he will not get the actual analysis, whatever you have done in your preceding analysis. So this means careless error should be avoided, and negligence should not be there whenever we are reporting a particular data. Carefully and critically examine your own work and the work of your peers, and keep good record of the research activity. For example, you are doing a particular research, and in that research, you need suppose 6 months, and during these 6 months, in the first month, one particular person has helped you, and in the second month, two more person has helped you, and in this way, you have done the progress of for your research, and finally, you have the final result after the end of the 6 month. But after 6 months, suppose you are not aware that to whom I should acknowledge, who have helped me in the first month, second month, or third month, and if I forgot uh, to acknowledge those persons whenever I'm doing the publication. So it is not a good sign. So that's why keeping the good record of the research activity is important. So even a supervisor asks the student to make a research copy. So that is the purpose of the research copy. So whatever is the research done in one particular day, that should be recorded on the copy, and after that, when you will have a final publication, you can go with your notes, and you can just check, okay, at a particular stage of writing the research a paper or doing the research, complete research, so who have helped me and how I have to acknowledge the person or any particular institution, any particular instrument. So where we have to put all these in our research papers, that should be clear in our mind, and it is only possible when you are having a very good research record of the research activities in your copies. Okay, so next point, openness. So, so generally, what happens? So, suppose you are publishing a paper, but you try to hide your data or results, and you don't want to share with the readers who are reading your the published research. But this is also again not a great sign. So you should be open to each and everyone. You should share your data, results, idea, tools, sources, because research should be progressive. Whatever the research we are doing at present, that is based upon the previous research, previous literature survey. And if we have seen the previous research literature review, only based upon that, we have got the idea from where we have to start, and what new we should add in the existing research. So this means if you will share the data, so your work will not be clear. And if your work will not be clear, you will not get the proper citation. and your work will not be recognized. Don't think that only publication is important, but citation is also important. Means whatever the research you have done, who is taking the benefit of that? Based upon your research, how many more researches has come will come into the picture, or in future? How many research will be done uh, or from the point where you have end in your research paper. So this means you should be very open to face the to share the data, and don't think that suppose you have interpreted some data. So based upon that, many researcher in the future may ask you some question, and sometime you have to face the criticism also, that how you have done that one, why you have got this type of the result. So you should be open to face the criticism, and to have a new idea or generation of the new idea. And facing this type of the criticism, you can also have a new idea for the research. And with your research team, you can go for the new type of the research. And respect for the intellectual property. So always honor patents, copyrights, other form of the intellectual uh, properties. Don't use unpublished data, methods, or research without permission. Give credits where credit is due. Never plagiarize. So what does it mean? So this means, suppose you are taking the help of the previously published data, and you are taking it without their permission, because when a publication when a research paper is being published in a particular research journal or any book, so you have to go for with the publisher of that particular book or journal to get the permission. Without permission, you cannot take any picture, any particular table, or any particular results of the already published data. So this means permission from the publisher is strictly required. And if you are just taking a particular number from the paper, for example, you are quoting about the, uh, for example, the band gap of a particular semiconductor. For example, silicon is known to each everyone, right? Silicon is a semiconductor based upon we are having many electronics appliances. So band gap of silicon is 1.1 electron volt. So suppose this type of the band gap is already written somewhere, and you are also comparing in some of your paper that the band gap of the semiconductor which is near to silicon. So then you can quote that its band gap is this one, and from where you have taken that one, whether it is a book or any previous research paper, you should give the credit. You should take it, take that paper as a reference in your paper. So give the credit where credit is due, and so that's why it is important. And if you are not going to give the credit and using using all these things without the permission, so this means you are going to plagiarize the data, and some legal action may be possible at a later stage uh, to you, or journal may automatically reject your paper based upon that, okay, you have some plagiarism, right? So, and then the confidentiality. So protect confidential communication, such as papers or grants submitted for publication, personal records, trades or military secrets, and the patient record. So these are the some of the examples where confidentiality should be maintained. For example, you are doing the research for the military secret, right? So you are helping the military of a one particular country, and you cannot share that particular research because you are doing that one for the military. In the same way, the patient record. So patient record is there, and it is about the suppose health record of the patient. So you cannot take the patient record without the permission. And if you are using that one, so this means you are breaking the confidentiality. And responsive publication. So what does it mean? So publish in order to advance research and scholarship. not to advance just your own career, right? So this means we should go for the quality research, not to add a number in our publication, right? So whatever the research we are doing, suppose we have published 100 papers. So if you are going with the 101 papers, that should be some additional research in this. That should mean not like the repetition of the whatever we have done in the previously published 100 papers. So because every time the advancement in research is needed, day by day the research is advancing, and the repetition will not result anything new for us. So that's why we should avoid the wasteful and duplicative publication, because it will not going to give us any gain in our career. Responsible monitoring. So it helps to educate, mentor, advise students, promote their welfare, and allow them to make their own decision. Okay, so we have the young researcher who do the research under the guidance of the experienced teacher or researcher. So, what is the role of the that teacher or the research supervisor? He should play a significant role in mentoring, because young blood, the early researcher, need only the direction. So if the mentor can provide them the right direction, so they can do the qualitative research in a very precise manner, and they can not only advance their own career, but they can also advance your career also. Okay, so this means it is the mutual growth of not only mutual growth of both mentor as well as the student. So that's why the mentor should promote the welfare of the students and allow them to make their own decisions. Sometimes it happens that the teacher can also learn from his students. So we should respect their decision, and if they are giving any logical reason, so we should accept their uh, discovery or whatever the research they have done. Legality. So, in ethical principle, legality is also important. So, know and obey relevant laws and institutional and governmental policies. For example, so you are doing the research, and some samples are preserved. For example, I am just talking about the archaeological survey. Some monuments are there, and those monuments are preserved by the archaeological survey of, for example, our country, that is India. Then you cannot do the research without taking permission from the government, depending upon the research related to these monuments. So, so if you are doing that one, are going to publish by somehow, by some trick. So you have to face the laws, and some serious action may be there. Animal care. So show proper respect and care for the animal when using them in the research. Do not conduct unnecessarily or purely designed animal experiments. Fine. Okay, so as in my first slides, I said that if you are not sure, that don't go for the experiment, don't publish your result, repeat the experiment again and again. But this time, if it is related with the animal experiment, from the very first point, from the very first try, you should be aware that I have to harm the animal up to the minimum time. So this type of the experiment should not be conducted unnecessarily uh, again and again. So this means, so for this type of the research where animal care is related, the experiment should be properly designed, not the poorly designed. And for this, the role of the mentor become very important. He has to guide that. Okay, with minimum number of experimental trial, how you can get the desired result whenever you are dealing with the animal experiment. Human subject protection. So when you're conducting a research related to human subject, so minimize harms and risk and maximize the benefit of human. Respect human dignity. privacy, and autonomy. We should not identify whenever the research is related to human beings that I conducted the research on this particular fellow. So this type of the practice should not be followed. Okay, so this means the whenever you are conducting the research on the human, so you should be very careful about the dignity, privacy, as well as autonomy. Fabrication. Let us come after the ethical principle. So let us come to the research misconduct. So in research misconduct, we have mainly three things. One is fabrication, second is falsification, and third one is plagiarism. So first one, fabrication, making up data or results and recording or reporting them. This means you have not got the data, but you have made the data by your own and then plotted the graph from that data and get the desired result or very close to the desired result. So this is called the fabrication. You are fabricating your data. So this type of the policy should not be adopted. So and it comes under the category of the research misconduct. So whatever the research you have done, okay. So suppose in the future somebody is doing the similar type of the research, so that particular person may be advised to reproduce your data, and if your data is not reproducible, so this means some fabrication may be there, or if they are doing all the things correct, right? So in order to avoid the fabric the this type of the chance of no repetition of the data, you should avoid the fabrication. And definitely, you know about your data very well. You know about your result very well. You know how you have produced your publication, whether you have fabricated the data or not. So if you are sure that whatever the data you are reporting, so that has come from your actual observations, so then there will be no chance of the fabrication. Number two, falsification. It is nothing but the manipulation of the research material or changing or omitting the data or results, such as research is not accurately represented in the research report. So what does it mean? So now you are manipulating the research material. For example, you have done the uh, research on A material, but you are reporting that I have done it for the B material, and you have produced the data for A material already, and now for the B, you are just slightly changing the data, or just you are omitting some of the data, or just you are changing the color of the graph. So this is called the falsification, and this type of the research is not accurately represented in the research report if this similar type of research is carried out in future by some other researcher. So it's called falsification. Third one is plagiarism. So it is already explained that it is nothing but the appropriation of another personal idea, processes, results, or words, or taking a figure, table without giving appropriate credit, acknowledgement, or permission. If you have not taken from the previously published results, so this means you may face the conduct of the plagiarism. Now, let us take the example of the research misconduct. So, what can be that? So, one can be the image manipulation. For example, you have the image for one particular research, and you are going to manipulate. Suppose you are going to change the size of the image, and or you are going to distort the image so that it look different, or it look as per your expectation. This is not a uh, good sign, and again it is coming under the category of research misconduct. Data fabrication, falsification, we have already discussed. Data omission, suppression. Suppression means, so suppose in one previous paper, so two paragraph has been given for the explanation of one particular graph, and now you are doing the similar type of the graph, and but you are taking the explanation from the previously published paper, but now you are just decreasing the word for the explanation, or you are suppressing your data. So this means this is also not a good conduct, and Plagiarism from the other of work of the other could also be the idea gleaned upon the peer review and used as one's own work. So this is also not a good sign. And sabotage is also coming under the uh, research misconduct. So this means you are just tilting the data, or you are just changing the data. You are changing for the things that it looks different. So it is also not a good sign. Okay, so you can go to this website, retractonwatch.com, where you will see that many researchers, including uh, some of the uh, articles in which name of the some Nobel laureate or very experienced researchers are there, and those articles have been retracted by the journal in future whenever some research misconduct came into the picture. Okay, so if we talk about the science, so ethical principle in science says that we should respect for the autonomy, we should be uh, beneficence and non maleficence. Research integrity should be taken into account. Objectivity in research should be clear. So these are the ethical principle in science. So let us see what we should do to ensure the ethics in science. We should maintain the transparency first of all. So uh, whatever we are producing, that should be transparent. And if we have used the previous resources, that should also be transparent, duly acknowledged, duly uh, cited, or duly taken the petition, whatever the case. So means maintaining the transparency is very much important. Highlight the collaborations. Okay, so you have used this instrument, you have taken the facility, you have used the facility of one particular institute, you have taken the help of the friend, your research paper has been read by some experienced researcher uh, who is uh, who is good enough in their research. So this means all these collaborations should be highlighted, and you must disclose conflict of interest. So conflict of interest is also one of the important topics. So we can have some conflict of interest, being the competitive environment. So whatever the conflict of interest is there, so we should mention while submitting our research paper, so that the editor who is handling your paper know about your conflict of interest, and he should not go for that particular researcher who have been pinpointed by you as a conflict of interest. Follow policy and the guidelines, whatever the policy and the guidelines has been there in the survey of your research or conduct of your research, and duly acknowledge all these ones. Now, what should we not do? Do not manipulate research or research result. Whenever I say research, this means suppose you are taking the wording or explanation of a previously published paper, so you cannot use the explanation of others for explaining your results, and the research results. You cannot take the data or the result produced by the others to gain for the publication of yours, and do not plagiarize the past researches, do not stun contradictory evidences, and do not artificially inflate the research record. So, so all these we should ensure in order to have the complete research ethics in our publication whenever it is a science research. Now, this is important. What is the lesson for the research? For the PhD student and early researcher. So, adopting this scientific ethics is not just a professional duty, but is a moral responsibility or moral necessity. So, take it as a moral advice that you have to uh, take into account all the research ethics principle as well as guidelines into account whenever you are performing. For example, suppose I say that consider yourself as a vital part of scientific community fabric. So there is a complete, if one particular fabric is there, and in that fabric, suppose even a small blemish is there. Okay, so suppose a small blemish is there in that fabric, so you can just identify that particular fabric. Okay, so this fabric is having blemishes, so it is not neat and clean. In the same way, whenever you are doing a particular research for the scientific community, so that should be neat and clean, so no blemish or uh, no cross question, no misconduct should be there in your research. So you should aim to stand up, but always in the most ethical manner, ensuring that whatever the contribution you have made, that has been marked by the integrity and adherence to the high standard of ethics in science as well as. This means if you are maintaining the high standard of ethics, so this type of the uh, doubts will not be there, and you will not have any blemishes in your research. Okay, so suppose you are conducting a group research. For example, if one research is there and it is conducted by the group of the people, so it should be published in the name of all of them. Fine. So suppose at the time of the publication of that research, omitting some names who have conducted the research, or by adding some names who are not there in that research, considered as unethical. So so just focus on the truth picture, that whoever the person have conducted the research, that only be the part of the authorship of that particular publication, and we should not give the undue advantage to any of the our friends or close relative or close students who have not even taken the part in the research just for the small benefit of that in the favor of that student. So that is totally unethical. So this type of the practice may give rise to legal dispute. For example, suppose 6 person has conducted a research and that research becomes very much popular. But whenever out of these six, the first one has submitted that paper and he has not written the name of the sixth person, but the sixth person may have some evidences that I have also contributed in this particular research. So he may challenge you that, okay, so I have contributed in this research, but the other five have not included me in the paper. And this type of the uh, uh, shortcoming can be liable to the legal dispute, and we should avoid such type of the possibilities. And the commercial sponsor should be acknowledged. Example, some person have given you the grant, and he they ha- they 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 think that, okay, you will acknowledge them, or you will promise them, you have already promised them, we will acknowledge you whenever we will whenever we will do some research. Okay, because this type of the funding, if it is coming from the sponsor, so they generally think that their name should also be highlighted in the research. So you should acknowledge them properly, writing name in the paper or in the acknowledgement section whenever you are doing the research for them. Okay, so now there is a group discussion of one more type. For example, publication with teacher and the scholar or student, whatever it is. So teacher and student, let us take it one and two. So both of them may together uh, under a preconceived plan and go for a joint publication. However, it is not ethical whenever the student or scholar does the research and teacher allow his name to be added as a co-author. And uh, okay, so suppose one more student is there, and he his name is not there, and teacher take maximum benefit, and the student who have done the maximum part of that research, and he is not having the maximum gain from that publication, that is also not ethical. So the mentor, the teacher, the researcher, the scientist should give the due credit to those students or researchers who have done the actual research or have taken part in the maximum part of the research. And most unfortunate part is that in some cases, what happens, out of the respect, scholar put teacher's name uh, and uh, so but suppose it is happening without the permission of the teacher, so this is also unethical part from the student point of view. So this act is highly unethical. So it should be mutual trust among the student as well as the researcher or the mentor, scientist or guide, and amount of misappropriation of the student works by the teacher should also not be there. Means teacher should also give the due weightage to the students, and student also should not take in the teacher as granted, and put his name with his permission only. Come to the duplicate publication. So if researcher publish his work in one or more than one journal, for example, one particular work has been published in one journal, so this practice of duplicate and then he go for the uh, one more similar type of the work, but in now in different journals. So this practice of duplicate publication is unethical, as it is deemed to be breach of publishing ethics. So, what is International Committee for Medical Journal Editors has led some guidelines. For example, this is for the medical research only. One of the major reason for calling duplicate publication as unethical, that it may result in inadvertent double counting or inappropriate weight, uh, weighing of the results of single study, which distort the available evidences. Means, suppose you are going to publish the data twice, so this means one particular evidence will be counted two times, so that should not be there. Okay, so what is desirable at this point, do not submit the work for publication at the multiple places. Although some students thinks that, okay, so if we will submit one particular work at two places simultaneously, so both will go in the separate publications, but whenever these will be published, so these at the later stage these may be compared. So if it is found to be duplicate, so some serious action may be there. And definitely prevent plagiarism. Plagiarism means use the work of the another person without acknowledge. So we have already discussed this one. Sometimes researcher paraphrase the work of others and use it in their own work without acknowledgement. And these days, this is very common, because we are having many paraphrase tools available on the internet. And so, suppose one student is taking the one stanza of the previous published paper, go to paraphrase of that one, and write that paraphrased work, paraphrase uh, paragraph in his own study. So this means this is also comes under the plagiarism. Okay, so there are two types of the plagiarism. One is the direct plagiarism, and second is AI plagiarism. So whenever AI plagiarism is there, so this paraphrase may also be taken in, and you will be caught. So these and what is the reason for doing that? So they think that, okay, so they will acknowledge the work of other, and the people may get to know that their work are completely based upon the work of other without any intellectual input from them. Okay, so this means if you have not acknowledged the work of other, and it comes under the category of the plagiarism. So this should be complete. This is completely unethical practice and amount into the misconduct. One more, so that is AI uses. So artificial intelligence has given us the freedom to speak and get uh, many things without going into detail survey of that particular things. So AI system to automatically produce a particular work, so and which is similar in nature to the original work, and AI can do it very easily. But this may also result in the copyright infringement and dent the image of the researcher, making him to face the consequence at at the institution and the outside also. Okay, so AI plagiarism. Generally, the students do not check the AI plagiarism, but the journals or the book editors are having the very strong tools to detect the plagiarism, and in that plagiarism, AI plagiarism comes also into account. So if it is there, so then your work may be rejected. So in order to avoid that one, so write by your own word, not with the use of the AI tools. Okay, right. So therefore, it is highly desirable and ethical that researchers should collect the data himself rather than relying on the AI system. And institutions are also required to adopt some stringent rules, strong rules to prohibit the use of the AI like ChatGPT by the researcher in conducting their research work. So we have the plagiarism set up by the University Grant Commissions (UGC) in 2018. So University Grant Commission, promotion of academic integrity and prevention of plagiarism in higher education institution regulation 2018 were notified on 23rd July 2018. So these regulations are were strongly required to raise the standard of research and publication in India. Okay, so these resolution should have come much before. Definitely, this should come much before. But anyhow, we can say better late than never. So it has come now. So even if you are writing a thesis, so that should be checked by the some plagiarism softwares like Turnitin or Drillbit. Without this, the library of your university or institution will not give you the clean sheet to publish the thesis, right? So this means so these uh, plagiarism guidelines are helping to promote the research. Now, some of the example, for example, I'm giving you two or three papers so which has been retracted. Retracted means these have been taken back or taken back by the publishers. For example, this particular work on ovarian cancer. So I'm just trying to read the words which I have highlighted. So this article has been retracted. Why it has been retracted? This article is retracted following an internal investigation by the University of Louisville and the investigation by the Office of the Research Integrity (ORI), which found evidence of the falsification, fabrication, and plagiarism of the data. Okay, so this means it is nothing but the severe abuse of the scientific publishing system. So it may happen to our case or any researcher case if they are not following the research ethics guidelines clearly. For example, this is the Nature journal and very high reputed journal in science. Okay, so based upon the brain import memory, again this article has been retracted, which shows the sign of excessive manipulation in some data, including the splicing, duplication, and use of the eraser. And this data cannot be verified from the record. So this article has been taken back uh, by the journal. One more, so that is the 5G technology. So based upon the induction of the coronavirus in this skin cells, so that has been published in this journal. And again, this has been written by the request of the editor. Even editor had caught it at a later stage, and it shows the evidence of the substantial manipulation review. And you can just imagine. So this is the research related to the medical field. And if we are going to publish such type of the research, falsification of the data, okay, so that may lead to some serious pros and cons in the future. And as I said that every institution is having some research ethical board. So I come from JNU, so our university is also having institutional ethical review board from Johar University, which is having the constitution of many members. For example, we are having the chairperson in that, scientist from the medical practice, scientist from the basic scientists, scientists from the basic science, external as well as internal, social scientists, philosopher as external member, one as the internal member of the same nature, advisor, member of ethical board of another institution, maybe from ICM, AIMS or ICGB, legal advisor, internal as well as external, and any layperson, maybe one or two, and the member secretary of JNU. So the complete detail of the IERB, Institutional Ethical Review Board. So it is true for each and every university. So the more detail about this can be found at the website jnu.ac.in/IER. So finally, I come to the conclusion. So research ethics are not just the set of the guidelines, but these are the foundation for the responsible and meaningful scientific work. Ethical research practices, they ensure the protection of the participants, validity of the research, and trust of the wider community. When I say protection of the participants, so this means if they are going to follow this type of the ethical research practices, so they will not face any legal action. When I say validity of the research, so whatever the results you have produced by following the ethical research guidelines, so that can be reproduced at the later stage. Finally, the trust of the wider community. So this means whatever the data you have produced, so the people will believe on your data, and they will take your data as it is, and in this way you can have a name in the scientific community and get the wider publicity, not only wider publicity but the more and more citation as well. By committing to integrity, transparency, and respect for all involved, we can contribute to the advancement in the of the society as well as science in a way that benefit the society as a whole. Okay, so this means integrity, transparency, and respect should be involved in our research as per the research ethical research guidelines. So let us continue to be the mindful of these principles as we shape the future of the research. So whatever the research will be done in the future, that will be based upon what the foundation we lay in our research. So let us be faithful, be trustworthy, and follow all the ethical guidelines and the principles. So with this word, so let me thanks for your kind attention. So if there are any questions, so these are welcome.
Yes, participants may raise their query if anybody have, but there are some time limitations. We will take only 2 or 3 queries at most.
Hello. Hello, Manish sir.
Yes, sir.
I have a question from law background.
Okay.
So, sir, in research of in legal research, we have to quote some articles, some sections, some judgment, and some report of law commission. So normally it increases the plagiarism. It goes up to 25 and 30% like that. So my question is this: do you have any special technique to reduce the plagiarism under these circumstances?
So are you quoting some judgment? Is it so?
Yes, I
Okay,
have to
so
make copy of judgment or the article or section as it is given in the law.
yeah, definitely. So you can, for example, in the starting, I think I have also given some quotes. For example, this is a quote,
Yes.
right? And this quote I have written in the, this is given by Jeff Cooper, and where he has said this one, so he has said in this one, and I put it in the inverted commas, right?
Okay.
So if there is a quote or judgment, so you can do in this way. And in many law research papers, so we have seen this type of the quotes. This is a common practice, you can say.
Okay.
And then by taking quotes, so you can avoid the plagiarism.
Okay.
Can
So
I
I should
can I
I
ask a
should
question, please?
I should mention it in reference or in footnote.
Yeah, definitely, you should mention the reference also. And in fact, if it is a quote, So that should come in your research paper at the place where you are quoting that particular quote. Okay, like
Yes.
I have shown you the example. For example, just take it as a research paper, and
Mhm.
it is coming on the first page, like my first slide is there. So you just
Mhm.
put it there and complete reference in the bibliography.
So in this case, if plagiarism is more than 10%, that it will be acceptable.
Uh, More than 10%. No.
Yes.
So it totally depends upon what you are publishing. For example, for book, I think it is
Mhm.
15%. But if it
Okay.
is for thesis, it is 10%. So what the guidelines a particular journal, book, or the university has made, so you have to follow that guidelines, whether it is 10%, 15%, or 20%. Some books can also take 20% of the plagiarism.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much,
So
sir.
can I
Thank
ask
you.
a question? So this is Rashmi Nair. Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, please.
So my query is in regards to a publication that I have done. It's a review article basically.
Yes.
We had sent it to a journal which was multidisciplinary and basically paid journal rather. So
Okay.
it so happened that we just sent the article because
Yes.
earlier also we had applied to Q1 category articles, journals, which had
Mhm.
permitted us publication by waiving of the fees. So we
Okay.
had sent into this journal, and in the meantime, they had started sending it for review. And we requested them that kindly understand the fact that we won't be able to pay any of the uh, APC charges and all because we don't have any funds as such available.
Okay.
We had informed it in the very first beginning mail, and a response came up which said that it is too early to answer something in this regards. Let's see whether your paper is accepted or not. In case if it is so, then we will let you know what can be done. And you know that India is not in the category of journals
B
where
category, yes,
they will,
where the fee is reduced,
yeah,
like Nepal, country Nepal
yeah,
is there.
exactly. So then it so happened that they had sent it for corrections. We got the major corrections done. We had sent it, and within no time they accepted it and they had sent it to the production department. And we were constantly calling, messaging these people that
Madam,
see,
here my let me interrupt you.
uh,
So tell me one thing: have you given copyright to them?
they, sir, another
If you
word.
have not given copyright to them, so this means they cannot publish your article. I can understand your question. Now you want to publish in some other journal, and the previous journal.
No, sir, that is not the issue. It is the issue is that these people have published the journal before even getting permission from us that we can pay it. We said we cannot pay it, and they are behind our lives saying that me, you will have to pay it. Now they have published it, they have sent an e-copy, and they have said that now you have to do the payment. This is something like they have made a mess
Madam,
with us.
just write to chief editor of that particular journal that okay, so I have not given any copyright for this publication, and journal has published your publication division has published my article, and even I have not paid the APC for that, and I don't want the publication of this article. And if you want the publication, do you want the
No,
publication in
sir,
that
we
book?
said that please retract the article, and the response was the policy of the journal says that there is no retraction process until unless there is such
No, retraction
plagiarism
is
issue.
different, ma'am. Retraction is different.
Hmm.
Retraction is means you have been found faulty. You are
Yeah.
just saying that you have not given the copyright. Just delete our research paper. I think if you will address your problem to the uh, editor in chief, so your problem will be resolved.
Okay, sir.
Right. I think it has gone to publication division, and they have not noticed that you have given the public copyright to them or not. So automatically, so they have assumed that okay, copyright is there, and they publish. But before you send the copyright to them, they cannot publish your. You can challenge them anywhere. Just try to
Okay,
go
sir.
Sir,
editor in chief there.
sir, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Sir, suppose I use certain images in my research paper. Now,
Yes, sir.
the Turnitin software, I think, will not be able to read those images.
Okay.
Am I right, sir? Then let's say I take an image which shows a growth rate of GDP in India. I take it from a government website.
Okay.
So how do I what kind of referencing do I use for this?
So you have taken it from some government website.
Yes, sir. Let's say RBI.
Sir, actually, you can always take those images. For example, I write here. This Spintronic, for example. Fine. So, okay. So, I think you can see my slides,
Yes, sir.
my screen. So you can go on the tool, advanced search. Sorry, not advanced search. Images and tool. And here user rights are there, Creative Commons. So whatever is coming here, you can take them as it is. Creative Commons, you can take as it is. But if you are taking any particular image, definitely you have to go for the permission. We also publish some of the review article, but for each and every image or paper, or sorry, table, we write to the journal that they provide us the permission. And some advanced journals, so which are in Web of Science or Scopus, so they provide you within, I think, 1 or 2 hours, right? But which government website you have used, who is the owner of that one, you should, I think, uh, contact with that
So
owner.
suppose I'm taking it from the website of RBI or
Okay,
Center for Monitoring of Indian Economy, something like this.
right.
So
So
do
what
I
type
have
of
to
picture
take
it
their
is?
permission?
What type of picture it is?
So picture, suppose it shows a graph which shows GDP growth rate of India for the last 10 years.
I think you can give it. For example, let me write one thing. So solar efficiency chart. For example, this is, I think, the similar thing. I'm just talking in terms of the material science. Uh, solar cell efficiency, NERL. So this is the Bell Research solar cell efficiency chart. Generally, we have no need to take the permission of this one, because we can download this chart, and many people give this particular image in their paper, because this tells us the current trends in the efficiency of the solar cell. This similar type of the picture, whatever you are saying, GDP growth of our country from the RBI side, and what they do. So access from this particular website, or in the month, for example, this month is September 2014. So you can write in this way, hopefully. Otherwise, because I am just telling you from my experience, hopefully it's correct. If we are talking about a trend, which is definitely true at the present time, in the present scenario, you can say. Yeah, I
Right.
think you can
Thank you,
use it.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for spending your valuable time from your busy schedule.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Manish, sir.
Okay, thanks to everyone. So if you have any other questions, so you can write me on my email. So I am just providing my email on the chat box, mkkashyap@jnu.ac.in, because there are many questions related to this topic, and we always remain in doubt what to do, what not to do. So if session is over, so can I leave the session?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure.
All right. Okay, thanks the organizer for
Okay,
inviting
thank
me
you so
here.
much, sir.
Hopefully
Thank
I
you,
am
sir.
in the
Thank you.
time.
Yes,
Thank you so
sir.
much,
Yes,
sir.
yes.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks to everyone.
Thank
I'm
you, sir.
leaving the
Our
meeting.
next session will be held tomorrow. And